Okay, good afternoon. I'm very happy today to welcome singer Wes McClelland.
You're close, McClelland. Yep.
McClelland talking to us from Texas. How are you, Wes? Everything
I'm
is fine?
Everything is great. It's wonderful. Thank you for having me, Sherif. I really appreciate it. And it's so good to connect with you.
Thank you very much. First, I want to know about your background before venturing into singing because I've seen you have released many songs on Apple and all the music networks.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been in music for the majority of my gosh, probably since I was 8 or 9 years old. The
Yeah,
first time I ever sang was in church, right? So I've been doing music for a long time, but on the
yes,
professional side, the last 25 years, I've been in the automotive industry and in digital marketing and advertising
ex-
sector. So I've had a lot of experience just, in the business world, if you will.
yes, excellent. And I want to know what were your first steps to venture as a professional singer, apart from like a music fan and a
Sure.
performer during your teens, maybe, and your childhood.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it was something. I'm a very faith-driven individual, so it was something that I really felt like that there was a strong calling and purpose for me to do when it came to sharing my music. So I'm a singer and a songwriter. So everything that I write, everything that I perform and record professionally, are songs that I've either written or have co-written in the past. And so to go along with that, it's been a process that I've done, gosh, going way back since I was a teenager. So getting into the music business is not as difficult as you might think. Obviously there's the talent portion of it, the desire to do it, the passion, the strategy, all of that stuff that goes with it. But for me, it really kind of began in the mid 90s, going way back to 1996. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yes,
But actually secured my first recording contract with a local record company in the Houston area. And really, Sharif, it was simple, as simply as me going and doing an audition, right? So
yes,
back in the 90s, we didn't have the luxury of scouring the internet and connecting with folks. To a degree, we did. However, it was more about local publications and finding out what possible competitions were available to compete in, to really just kind of showcase your talent. And so that led to the opportunity for me to audition for a record label. So that's really
yes,
how I got in it and got started on the professional side of it.
yes. I know that you grew up in Orange, in Texas,
Yeah.
and I want to know what kind of influences you can tell me about growing up in this part of the state of Texas, and how these influences, started to be reflected in your lyrics, in your music, in your performance.
Yeah, great question. Obviously, music is about storytelling, and especially the type of music that I write when it comes to, country song and positive country, if you will. But Orange, Texas is my home. Although I don't currently live there, I do visit quite often. I have family that still lives there. But, Orange, Texas is a small community, a
Mhm.
wonderful historical type community that's right on the Texas-Louisiana border. So if you're driving through interstate or down Interstate 10 and you're headed towards Louisiana, perhaps on your way to visit Baton Rouge or New Orleans, or if you're going, west on Interstate 10, you're going to pass right through Orange, Texas. So the musical influences there are rich. There's a lot of folks in that community, and especially in around Southeast Texas, what we call the Golden Triangle, which is Beaumont, Texas, Port Arthur, Texas, and Orange, Texas, and all of the wonderful cities and communities in between. There's some
Yes,
really amazing folks, Sharif. If you look up and you look at some of the history musicians that have come from there, some of my musical influences, such as George Jones, is from the area. You can even look on the rock and roll side, and you can even find Janis Joplin. And then of current musical influences and guys that are still out there doing it and performing, you can Look at Mark Chestnut and Tracy Byrd and Clay Walker and some of those folks. So there's a lot of rich history when it comes to music. And of course, my musical influences are reach far and wide in multiple genres, including classical music. I'm a trained vocalist and sang and trained, in my high school and into college. And so, there's a variety of things. My mother had a master's degree in music. And so, and my dad was excellent at playing country music throughout the house and dancing around on Saturday mornings. And so, we had a really strong musical family, just something that it just came natural for me, and really enjoyed my time growing up in Orange as a kid and into my young adulthood.
Yes, and you mentioned as well in your website, yeah, you had influences from Elvis, from Hank Williams,
Absolutely.
George Strait, and beautiful people. I think they have immortal music, uh, and I want to ask you, did your background in sales marketing help you to promote yourself as a singer?
Absolutely. I think in everything that we do, it's preparation for that opportunity. And so little did I know that I would be circling back, 2 decades later, getting back into the music business. But for sure, just the leadership skills that I learned, the ability to communicate and have, great conversations with folks, just as you and I are doing here today. That piece of it was a valuable life lesson, right? Just being able to have that professional, that level of professionalism that you're going to gain from, being out in the community and connecting with not only your staff and just general, customers that are coming through your doors, and regardless of whatever you're doing, if you're doing,
Yes.
a combination of things, right? It's always going to come back to certainly help you on the marketing piece of it. Absolutely. There were things that I learned in managing and running successful automotive dealerships in both Texas and in Southern California were huge for me, in the fact that I was actually able to take a lot of that knowledge and that skill set and translate that over to, the technology piece of what we do. When I first started doing music, back in the 90s, social media was not something that we were doing. It is today.
Yeah.
And so it's a big piece, but it's not the only piece of what's going to make a successful artist. But I certainly would agree that it's something that you should do, and you should have fun with it,
Yes. My generation was maybe like yours, maybe the vinyl, then the cassettes and CDs.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, and right now everything is digital. I mean,
yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of physical media. I think that people are looking for that. That's definitely something that I want to do, and that I do plan on doing. Is when I finish up my album, is release a physical album. Right? Let's put it on vinyl. Let's put a CD out there.
Yes.
Folks are actually putting their music back on cassettes as well. So there's a feeling of nostalgia. And I think with that comes, I'm a big collector, Sherif, of lots of things, but especially movies. And so I love collecting movies on DVD and the Blu-ray format, 4K format. And so I'm probably guilty of saying that I have probably into the thousands of movies. I'm that big of a movie buff. So I think that there is something to be said for still sharing physical media. Matter of fact, my wife and I gifted one another some albums this Christmas. And so there's something really nice and relaxing that allows you to put on an album, put on your favorite music, and sit back and just enjoy the evening listening.
Yes. Right now, I want to ask you about the music scene right now in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Besides releasing your songs, your albums, how can a performer like yourself promote himself as well? I mean, in the music scene and the live scene.
Yeah, so live music is something that I'm actually in the process of getting back into. So, my hiatus away from music, didn't really allow for me to perform on a regular basis unless it was at a small family gathering or smaller private event,
Yes.
including even, including weddings and church events and things like that. The music scene in Texas, listen, Sherif, you can make a career in music just in Texas alone. And
Yes.
so whether that's releasing music, digitally as well as to radio, it's important to be able to share your music with the public. And so people know where to find you. Including that would also be, there's venues all around, just in the Sugar Land area alone. I can tell you there's probably at least a dozen well-known venues that allows for live music at any point in time, whether it's during the weekday or at night, the weekends. Radio stations have been very welcoming to receive my music. And so I'm actually in the process of putting together a leg of a radio tour, essentially, to go visit the stations that are playing my music consistently. That will also include live performance. So, someone is playing one of my songs, guess what? I'm going to go visit with them, and we're going to have a conversation like you and I are doing today, and that will also result in me playing the song live. So live music is still obviously a very intricate part of any musician's career.
Yes. But I see right now you have released recently several songs, and one of them is What I Know Now.
Yep.
And I want to know a little bit about the lyrics, the music, the message you'd like to convey, the topic of the music, what you would like to what kind of message you like to send to listeners of this song.
Yeah, that was one of those very special songs as a songwriter that I just really felt deeply in my heart as I started writing it. And really the message behind it, Sherif, is, it's the lessons that we learn along the way in our lives. Having been in the music industry, been away from it, raised a family. I married my high school sweetheart, Michelle. We have one son, Weston, who's in college. And, just reflecting back on those experiences, the things that I've done, the relationships that I've developed, the friendships that I've made, whether it's just, outside of work, other folks that we bring into our lives at different points and different seasons of our lives. So taking a look at What I Know Now, it's truly a reflection song of being able to take those life lessons and saying, you know what, I have everything I need because of my family and my friends and the folks that, I surrounded myself with. That's also allowed me to come back and to do music full time again.
Yes, and you mentioned as well that Michelle and Weston, they encourage you to come back to music after being away a little bit.
Yeah, they're obviously 100% my rock and my biggest fans and cheerleaders, and, encouraged me. Of course, the only thing that they had to say was, geez, Wes, why'd you wait so long? Right. Well, it's all in God's timing. And so this was the right time for me to do this. It was the right time for me to share my songs. And so with their encouragement and their love and support, certainly was a big piece to helping make this happen for sure.
Yes. I have an idea for a song for you.
Okay, absolutely. Let's hear it. Are we talking country? Are we talking country song here, Sherif?
Yeah, I will pitch it. It will be called Michelle.
Okay. The Beatles have a famous song called Michelle My Belle.
Yes.
Yeah. But let's talk about it. That's the fun thing about music is that, a lot of the songs that I do, and including my latest song that is on radio and streaming, is called Ask for Help. And the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so, that's one of those songs, Sherif, that truly can cross genres and boundaries. It's not just for the country music listener. It's folks that just want to hear good music. And so, that can cross over to the contemporary Christian side of things, adult, contemporary music, top 40. So, as I'm writing and going through and, putting a song together, oftentimes you're in the process of putting something together and you're not 100% sure, okay, well, this might wind up being a country song, although that's probably 90% of the tunes that I write. But would certainly love to hear your idea, and let's talk about it. Collaboration is a big part of what we do.
Great. Ask for help, as far as I understand, is about looking for help from
Yeah,
close people. And also, it tackles mental health as well, mental challenges.
it is.
So,
Yeah.
tell me, do you like the lyrics you like to write are inspired by experiences and the atmosphere around you, right? The community around you.
Absolutely. I think going through this journey, especially over the last 25 years, it doesn't really matter of age. I mean, there's young people out there that are teenagers that are writing wonderful songs, right? But it is about your story. It's about telling your story. So my inspiration is rooted kind of more in that, traditional storytelling. So, I believe that overall music is about telling the truth. So I simply like to just find those times and opportunities to where I can go sit down at my mother's baby grand Steinway and Sons piano that is from the 1940s. I grew up playing it. It was in her house, and then not long after she passed away in 2020, I inherited the piano, and something that my three siblings and I have enjoyed playing through the years. So, when you're writing a song like Ask for Help, Sherif, that idea came to me from a personal experience
Mhm.
in 2008. So here we are in 2026. So, I just felt like it was important to share a little bit about my story of going through some struggles and dealing with anxiety and some things that, listen, it's okay to say, hey, I need some help, and to recognize and admit that maybe there's something that you're going through. And so I was fortunate to have, loving family and friends that also came to me and said, hey, what's going on? And one of the biggest things that I did is went and talked to my pastor at the time at First Baptist Church in Orange, Texas, and just said, hey, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm not quite feeling myself. And so that's where Ask for Help came from.
Yes. I want to ask you because, like maybe 20 years ago, you had a lot of success in your album at that time.
Mhm.
And, to have a success on digital platform right now is very challenging, a lot of competition. And I want to ask you, how do you see country music across other parts of the United States?
Well, it's country music is hugely important to the U.S. and in many countries, right? I've recently found out that there's folks that are over in the UK and Europe that are now discovering my song. So country music in the U.S. is always going to be big. It's always going to be popular. I would say that with the digital platforms, yeah, it's competitive, but there's a niche for everyone. There's a space for everyone. So if you're truly passionate and you care about, writing and recording and sharing your music, find those supporters that can help you do that. And, there are some things that you can do certainly to separate yourself, especially when it comes to the quality of the recording. If you're going to record at home, it's totally okay. Sit down at the piano or grab a guitar. Just make sure you've got a quality microphone, and maybe even just video yourself putting it out there. If you want to elevate it to the next level, there are recording studios all around the country. I was blessed enough to find and partner some folks in the greater Nashville area that allowed me to come in and record with some world-class musicians and a fantastic facility that allowed for the quality of the songs that I recorded to, really be able to stand out in a way to where when you hear them on radio or hear them on streaming, you understand that it's a first class experience.
Yes. What can you tell us about your projects for the rest of the year?
There's quite a few things that are going to be coming up. I'm actually going to be back in the studio this week, and so I'm going to be staying here in Texas. I'm going to be at a friend's studio in Beaumont, Texas this week, and we're going to be finishing up some recording as far as vocals and background vocals, and a few, what they call overdubs, just to make sure that the songs are at their best. And then with that, it's going to allow me to actually finish up the entire album. So, a lot of musicians can release EPs, which is anywhere from 4 or 5 different songs. And then, of course, a full-length album generally is around 10 songs or more.
Yes.
And so my plan is to finish the recording process, get these songs mixed and mastered, get them sounding their absolute best. Songs are like little children, right? These are my family members that I'm now releasing out into the world to share with the public. And so I'm going to be finalizing and finishing that process, and then hopefully be able to share that later this summer, early this fall. But then along that same vein and that path, I'll be continuing to release new music.
Excellent. And do you plan to shoot some music videos as well?
Absolutely. So, obviously, Sherif, there's some cost factors that go into what we do as musicians. And so being considerate of that, and with budget, I've been releasing lyric videos, which are very popular. It allows folks to hear the songs on multiple platforms, as well as see a beautiful video to go along with it, as well as actually being able to have the lyrics in front of you on the screen. But I'm in the process now of putting a storyboard together with a friend of mine who actually owns a film company right here in Houston, Texas. Believe it or not, he's actually my next door neighbor. And so we're going to be shooting a music video for Ask for Help. And the story for that is going to be absolutely beautiful. I've been in connection with the local mayor here in Sugar Land. She's made some, given me some suggestions on some particular venues that would allow me to go in and to be able to use those backdrops to record the video. So you guys can look for that to be out probably within the next, 4 to 6 weeks.
Excellent. I was asking before, recently Spotify started to add the option to view music video as well. And they add video podcasts and other content, and they likely will compete with YouTube. So I think a music video could be very, very nice addition to your work as well. And I think people like to watch them until now, to watch it. Yes. Wes, I want
it really helps add a visual to the story, right? So from that artist perspective, along with the videographer and the director, it really allows to tell the unique story of that particular song. So I would agree, it certainly will be helpful, and I'm sure the fans of my music, as well as other folks that are able to put videos and put quality videos out there, are certainly very appreciative of it.
Yes. Wes, I want to thank you very much for joining us today on my channel.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
I am very happy to hear your own story in your own words.
Yeah.
And I believe you give inspiration to many other artists, that creativity has no age and no expiration.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank very much your wife and your son to give you energy and support to continue. And I hope I can attend one of your concerts in the future when I'm in Texas.
Absolutely. Well, listen, you can certainly let me know when you're coming, and you'll be my guest. I'll be your personal tour guide. I'll give you the tour of. Now, Texas is a big state, Sherif, so we may have to start locally in the Houston metro, and then we can expand from there. And who knows? I do have some connections of some family that has a ranch not far from here, and we can go out there and see some horses and Texas Longhorns and all that good stuff.
Excellent. I look forward for it. I want to discover the cowboy in my in my end.
Well, I have one question for you. Now, I'm not wearing a hat today, but I do have a cowboy hat and baseball caps and things that I like to wear, and some boots. So do you have a cowboy hat and boots? If not, we'll have to.
I have here in Ecuador, we have something similar to cowboy hat.
Okay.
You wear it under the sun, I look like an Italian or Mexican. My wife tells me so when I wear it. And but boots, no, I should get a boot from Texas, sure.
Well,
Yes, some
we've got
very traditional.
plenty of places here to get you some boots, and even some handmade and handcrafted boots as well. So,
Yes,
but yeah, I'm looking forward to visiting with you and connecting with you soon. And if there's anything else that you ever need from me, Sherif, I'm happy to
thank you.
jump back on another call with you.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you again.
Sure.
And I hope when you have the music video ready, we can come back and talk about it as well.
That would be wonderful. That would be great. Let's plan on doing that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Wes. Enjoy the afternoon in Texas, and I look forward for your upcoming projects and my best wishes for more success.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a lovely afternoon.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye.